Alright guys, so Fuller coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. So yeah man, so much for Undisputed. Canelo gets his way, bro. That's all I gotta say about this. When it comes to these Infinity Stones, man, since Canelo is the cash cow, man, he gets his way. And what's crazy is that if Canelo doesn't want to take a fight, Canelo doesn't really have to take a fight, even if it's the mandatory. Even if it is someone that is next up in line for a fight and it has to go to purse bid, Canelo finds a way to wiggle his way out of a fight. So with that being said, I really truly believe that Canelo is going to, is more or less likely going to fight Sergey Kovalev, because still that fight with him and Anthony Yarde has been stalled. Like, negotiations have hit a roadblock and we don't know if we're going to get that fight. Okay, shout outs to Boxing Scene for this, but let's go ahead and read this, man. This is interesting. So it said, adding to the crazy confusion of title belts, the World Boxing Council has now created a new world title position, with Saul Canelo Alvarez being late tabbed as the WBC franchise champion. By doing this, the WBC removes Canelo from his position as the middleweight champion, and in doing so, they have made their interim champion Jermall Charlo the full middleweight champion. Man, Oddfellow, if you watch this video, we were saying he needs to drop that fool's gold belt, but guess what? I guess it turned out to be gold after all. Now, guess what? That means Canelo does not really desire to be undisputed. Because if you look at it, if he wanted to be undisputed, he would say, hell no, I'm holding on to the full championship. So this means that Charlo is now, as a matter of fact, going to defend his new his new WBC strap against Brandon Adams. And so what this means is that, that means he has one of the most important Infinity Stones in the bunch. Okay? This is a changing of the guard. This means that Charlo is now Mr. A-side. That means that Charlo negotiates the network. That means that Charlo gets the bigger purse. We always had that saying, good things come to those who wait. Or there was that other saying, good things come to those who get off their ass and go get it. But in this case, good things happen to those who wait. Now, it goes on to say that Canelo holds the IBF and WBA versions of the middleweight title. And during its recent mid-year meeting in Honolulu, Hawaii, USA, the WBC Board of Governors approved Rule 3.26 of the WBC Rules and Regulations, which create the designation of the WBC Franchise Champion. The Franchise Champion is a special designation and status which the WBC may bestow to a current WBC World Champion who is also an elite boxer and who has achieved and maintains the highest statures in the sport, the sanctioning body stated. Under the Rule 3.26, in its discretions, the WBC may, upon a 2/3 vote of the Board of Governors designate in each weight category one WBC franchise champion. A franchise champion shall enjoy the special status with respect to his or her mandatory obligation, holding multiple titles and competing for titles of other organizations as the WBC Board of Governors rules on a case-by-case basis. The WBC is bestowing that honor upon Canelo Alvarez due to his many accomplishments, which have positioned him as a major worldwide attraction in boxing. And in light of his unquestionable boxing career linked to our organization, Canelo Alvarez has represented the WBC for 11 years with outstanding results in his professional careers. So let's decode this language. What this language means is that this is a Canelo protection agency. When you wrinkle through and decode the hieroglyphics, what we are led to believe is that Canelo wanted no smoke with no Charlo. That's just the bottom line. Canelo did not want no parts of Charlo at all. You know, he didn't want no smoke. He's like, here you go, sir. You can just take the full championship. You know, and then let's take it a step further. The franchise champion will be designated as WBC Emeritus champion once he retires from boxing. The franchise champions will proudly represent WBC in every single fight as a reigning WBC champion, regardless of any specific conditions or titles being associated with all future fights. WBC rules and regulations will govern under the traditional conditions of boxing and the franchise champion fights. WBC will approve the franchise champion promoter every opponent's scheduled fight. Franchise champion agrees to participate in a minimum of 2 social responsibility events every year organized in conjunction with the WBC. WBC may recognize the WBC champion in the divisions or the divisions where the franchise champion currently competes. The WBC may award a diamond championship belt in those fights, and the franchise champion engages and the franchise champion loses. The winner will receive the diamond belt and may be considered a mandatory contender in the division. So basically, the WBC and Mauricio Suleiman basically created an escape route for Canelo so he didn't have to go get that Charlo work. So what I'm left to wonder is, will Canelo go after that WBO strap against Demetrius Bugatti Andre? They're both on the same streaming platform. He still holds some belts. Demetrius Andre holds a belt. Is he going to try to unify that strap? Or is he going to try to go for the Kovalev fight? Another question that needs to be asked is Gennady Triple Coward Golovkin going to go after the WBC strap now that the young lion has it? Or is he going to keep on fighting the guys who serve you your lasagna at the local Italian restaurant? Another question remains is, what does this do for the division? Does this mean that some of these fighters are going to man up and fight Jermall Charlo? Are we thinking too far-fetched when we may want to see a possible uni versus Jermall Charlo and Demetrius Bugatti Andre, since there's bad blood there and each of them are very much reaching their prime? It remains to be seen, because now Jermall Charlo has some bargaining room with that WBC strap. He has a very important Infinity Stone at this moment. Now, people may think that I just cap for Bugatti Andrade, but you have to understand that if you ask me who my favorite fighters are, Jermall Charlo is always in that mix. More so than Jermall Charlo, personally. My personal preference, just from what I see with Jermall Charlo. Now, Canelo basically said, I don't want no parts. Okay, and this is, and these Canelo decaps are gonna try to defend this and say, oh well, you know, he's chasing greatness. He's moving up to 175. He doesn't want to bother with a Charlo. They're gonna say, who is Charlo for? He doesn't deserve a Canelo fight. Who has he fought? You know, that's what he's gonna say. But Canelo basically ran. That nigga ran. And this is not an unlikely pattern with Canelo. Let me refresh your memory, okay? When Canelo was at 154, and you can deny this all you want, but I got the receipts, okay? And if you want me to pull out the receipts, I will pull out the receipts. Now, when Canelo was at 154 and Demetrius Andrade, I think, had the WBO strap at 154. Canelo was his Mando. That was the next up in line to fight Demetrius Andrade. What did Canelo do? He fought James Kirkland, who was inactive, who had a lot of legal problems going on, and really was not in no position to fight at the highest level. Plus, they wouldn't let him have Am Wolf in his corner. That's we have to remember that. Now, he beats James Kirkland in, of course, a knockout fashion. I mean, you expected it. Demetrius Andrade gets stripped of the belt because of inactivity, okay? The belt is vacant. So Canelo and Liam Smith fight. Demetrius Andrade said, you know, either lose to Liam Smith or get your ass whooped by me. So granted, Canelo wins against Liam Smith. He gets that WBO strap. Guess what? Demetrius Andrade is next in line. What does Canelo do? He vacates the belt, moves to 160. Now, granted, Canelo did beat Daniel Jacobs, but I'm going to be honest with you, it wasn't in a convincing fashion. If you ask me, that fight was a tie, you know. But Canelo, honestly, this proves right here, this proves that Canelo wants no part of Charlo at all. He said, he basically handed him the belt. He said, here you go, sir, you can just take it. And people will say, well, Charlo looks so bad against Korobov. Please, Korobov would get Canelo or Triple G problems. So with that being said, let's see what Canelo does next. What I'm predicting is either a third Triple G fight or him fighting Kovalev. But let's just see. But it is official. Canelo basically handed that belt over. They created a new belt for Canelo. And now we just got to wait and see how it plays out. But this adds a lot of more excitement to the division. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what we got next. All right, Full is signing out. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Njara.